Then, you know, it was saying about how the jellyfish is changing from a bit back, just being a blob, to now being a blob with stingy bits. You go, oh. And then...
No, I don't. I wonder what he read.
And
I wonder what he was reading.
Then I'll think of what other things are in the sea, how are they changing? And then that's when I might do a poem about an octopus with two heads. Because it's got me thinking. So no longer am I just reading someone else's story, spending a full week reading some other story. I've read a little paragraph, and that's got me thinking about
and it's inspired you to make great art.
With an octopus with two heads. And you just think, yeah, that would work. You know, that's a good way for them to evolve. They've got all the arms. Give them two heads.
They've got all the arms.
And, you know, it would work because, like I've said to you before, it is one big head. Just make it two smaller heads. So it's just looking at science, looking at how things can move.
It's not looking at
but it's
science.
not looking at science. You then speculating on an octopus having two heads is of no value, is it, to anyone or anything?
But there's people out there who are bringing out books who are writing stuff like that for sci-fi stuff. And I think, why am I reading
But that's
theirs?
entertainment. Everyone knows it's not true. They're doing it to...
But they do more than just say, wouldn't it be great if there was an octopus with two heads? They then paint a world in which this octopus exists and presumably causes some kind of narrative interest.
I can do that on my own, though, without...
So what's the story of the octopus with two heads?
It's happier in the end. Everyone likes happy ending. He's got company.
But that's not a story, Carl. What? Tell us the story.
What, you made up a story about an octopus with two heads?
No, I'm just saying... I've thought about how the sea's changing. Right, what else is in the sea? Octopus. Right, what's an octopus like? Well, it's just a big head with a load of arms. Right, how would I change that?
I love this thought process.
But it's not a story. This is not a story. It's not anything. It's just some thoughts you've had. It's not...
But a story is there to make you think and have thoughts.
But what is it that you've thought? You've not... I don't see what you've thought here.
I've just thought, yeah, that'd be alright.
I know, but...
Well, like King Kong, then. That's only someone who's gone, oh, monkeys are getting better at stuff.
Yes, but it has a story, doesn't it? They go in search...
No, it isn't. It isn't saying monkeys are getting better at stuff. That's not what it's saying. There's lots of themes, but that's not one of them.
Monkeys are getting better at stuff.
No, they're getting better at stuff. The way they try to he tried to go out with a woman. That's them moving on, isn't it? It's the monkey going, do you know what? I quite fancy her. And you know from the beginning, I mean, that is a story that you go, well, that relationship ain't going to work. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I've not gone out with women who I've quite fancied, but then they smoke. And you go, oh, that's enough to put me off. Yeah. So, when a monkey's that big... the thought wouldn't even pass my mind
to go on a date.
This could work out. Sometimes it's just, you know, relationships aren't made for each other. Now, that for a story, you wouldn't think it'd go past page 1. Yet you're having a go at me because an octopus has got two heads, which isn't that weird. When you look at them anyway, I mean, it must be the weirdest thing knocking about on the planet. I'm not kidding you. I've never seen anything so weird. And yet...
He's angry because he's not seen anything so weird as an octopus. So
it's not yet a story.
What's weird about it? What's strange about an octopus with all the things that could...
Why is it any weirder than a dog?
Because it couldn't be further away from us. A dog has got human eyes. If a jellyfish had a pair of eyes like ours, I probably wouldn't worry about him that much. But like I said to you, it's that way that they haven't got eyes, they're floating about. I can handle some fish. They look like us. They've got eyes. You can make eye-to-eye contact with them. A jellyfish, what are you looking at? It's a snidey thing, like I've said to you. You can see a lot in eyes. Do you know what I mean? They say, don't trust him. Why? It's his eyes. Jellyfish haven't even got any, and I don't trust them. Whereas if it had them, maybe there'd be the odd one that I'd go, oh, that one's all right.
Okay, Carl, I'm just going to throw an animal at you. Tell me how weird it is, what bits annoy you, how you change it. Okay? A crab.
How would I change it?
Yeah. Does it annoy you? Do you think it's weird?
They are weird, but they're at that size where they can get away with it.
Yeah, it suits them. Okay, good.
Would I change anything? in a way, you know, what you're saying about things not working, he can't walk forwards. So why hasn't something happened? Why haven't they said, you know what, these arms are too clumsy. We need to have them so they can slot away easier, and we can pull them out when we need them, instead of clumping around with them. Because they do struggle. You see them struggling with their arms. Yet they're still here, they're still doing that, they're still designed that way.
What's the weirdest animal? So you think the octopus is the weirdest animal on Earth?
Yeah. In terms of design and everything, and if you lined everything up, say if I'd come from another planet and everything was lined up in a row, and they said, right, we're going to give you a crash course in what's knocking about on this planet. Yeah. And you go, right, go on then. And you go, this is man, here's woman, here's a dog, here's a cat, here's an octopus, here's a... I go, hang on a minute, what is this? If you're saying there's a museum that's keeping everything, there's loads of other books for that. Who's looking at the fella whose skulls fell off?
What?
We see. It's interesting, isn't it?
What do you mean the fellow whose skulls fell off?
Well, that's what happened the other week, so I wrote about it.
What?
A fella's skull has fell off.
What do you mean his skull has fell off?
It's something to do with circulation.
But what do you mean his skull fell off?
Well, it's in the diary.
But how can a skull fall off? Because it's surrounded by tissue and it's got a brain. How can just his skull... How can it detach itself from all the stuff surrounding it?
He mislaid all his dreams.
But all I'm saying is that's not getting a look in.
No, because it's not significant or probably true.
Good point, Steve.
I don't.
All right.
know
Well,
what's
let me just.
anything
I'll just consult the diary quickly and find the moment with the man whose skull fell off. Oh, here we are. Yeah. Looks like the world's fattest man is having an operation to get rid of some of the fat. Yeah. He has to have an iron bed because that's the only thing that can hold his weight. Yeah. There's also a man whose skull has fell out. He's in hospital somewhere. I hate that. It would make me panic. The hospital is busy with people coming in to look at their head.
What are you talking about there? That tells us nothing. Right, it's impossible for a skull to fall out.
How are scholars in 10,000 years going to be... What are they going to decipher from that?
They can sort of go...
There's not enough incident detail.
But how did his skull fall out?
Circulation problems.
But answer the question. How did his skull fall out? Fall out of what?
He was at home, and I don't know if he was combing his hair or something, but it come off.
What did?
His skull.
What do you mean, his skull? Do you know what the skull is?
It's a part of the head.
Well, no, it's the structure of the head. It's the bone. Do you mean the top of the skull?
This is only useful if you have all the salient facts. Then it would be of interest to us. We could.
Well, I couldn't take that on. I'm busy. I'm not going to start looking into stuff in depth. Just get the details.
God, you're such an idiot. You are the best. Oh, idiot in the world.
Well, I don't want to be premature, but that entry is followed by, I injured my toe the other day by dropping the toaster. Instead of letting it hit the floor, I tried to catch it with my foot. I didn't think I'd done any harm, but my nail looks like it could fall off. I might show it to the doctor when I get me kidney stones out. We could easily get by without nails on the feet. They are more trouble than they're worth.
You're so wrong. You're so wrong.
I think on the days when cavemen without shoes and animals need nails, I don't think we need them now. I honestly... Because you hear about ingrowing toenails, right? So that's a problem. You've got to cut them. Stuff gets under there and gets infected. Get rid of them, you won't have any of that. As long as you wear shoes.
No, you'd have unprotected toes and fingers, wouldn't you?
I didn't say on the fingers, just on the toes.
So why do you need them on the fingers and not the toes?
Because you use your hands to do stuff. I've said about toenail out. It'd be good to have it growing on the head.
What?
Just having like a sheet of it, just like a nail on the forehead. You wouldn't look weird because we'd all have it. I'm not saying.
What are you talking about now?
I'm just saying I don't want to go on about evolution and stuff because we've done it all.
What do you think the skull is for?
No, but I mean on the outside, so that when you bang your head, it's a little bit more protection. Like people, I mean, you're looking at me like that. Why do you wear a helmet on a bike then?
Because the bike wasn't meant to be invented. We weren't meant to whiz along at 70 miles an hour with evolution.
I know, but because life's changing, like you've said.
But you can't go, let's evolve, let's re-evolve.
Okay, let's assume we've got this nail on our head that's growing out of our forehead.
So we look like one big thumb.
Yeah. Which weirdly, Carl kind of, I mean, you can almost imagine it looking at Carl now. You can imagine a big nail there. Does the nail continue to grow? Do we have to trim the head nail?
Yeah, in the same way you get a haircut.
Why is that preferable in your mind to just wearing a crash helmet in instances where you might have something hit your head?
Just because, for a start, helmets, you have to carry them around with you. That's one thing that's put me off having a motorbike. Whenever you see someone on a motorbike, it's all like the clothes you've got to wear. And it's like a big upheaval, isn't it? It's you know, if you have a car, you can get in with your shorts on, your flip-flops on. A motorbike, it's like you're an astronaut or something, and you're only nipping down the road for some milk. Do you know what I mean? So, what I'm saying is get rid
But does it annoy you having to put shoes on every day, and underpants, and a vest, and I don't know...
No, but once they're on, I'm not carrying them. They're on me. If I had to then take the shorts off for whatever reason and walk around holding them, I'd go, I can't be bothered. I don't like holding a bag. I don't like bags. We carry too much around with us now. I don't like carrying stuff. It's just a hassle, isn't it?
It's just endless things he doesn't want to do, doesn't like doing. It's like carrying bags. Who the hell has a gripe about carrying bags? Why is that a concern?
Because it's stuff that's on you.
I love the way that he wouldn't mind having a nail growing out of his fucking head, but he doesn't want to carry a bag.
What's good with it is everybody's got one of these.
But it's not going to happen, Carl.
And the most important thing in your body, apart from the heart, is your brain. So protect that, not the toes. The toes we can get by without the toes. People. But your head's important, isn't it? There's a lot of stuff in your head. And I know all this just after seeing the Bodyworks thing. I went to see it's a show on where there's a load of like dead bodies and that. And you can see how much stuff's in the body. And there's loads of stuff. There's nothing in there that you don't need. It's all doing stuff. Everything in your body.
We've been telling you that for years.
But you reckon you don't need the toenails?
Yeah, that's on the outside. I'm saying everything that's on the inside of your body, right?
You don't need the appendix.
No, but doesn't that depend on what lifestyle you have?
Well, it's a hangover of when we probably ate a lot more cellulose, and it's.
Yeah, well, they might come back. Things are always coming back, aren't they? So if people start eating them again.
What about male nipples?
Sort of looks all right though, doesn't it? Because the chest is quite plain, so with nothing on it, you'd go, oh, "What's this?" It just balances it out. I think it looks all right. I think it works. So leave it. But what were we talking about?
But wouldn't you rather have maybe a little like a rib cage around the testicles? Because you get a whack in them and it
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Not an invention, Carl. It's not an invention, and we can't do it. But
would you be able to sit down still? Because that's the good thing with them at the moment is movement. So it sort of works. But don't they say they said something about testicles at the Bodyworks thing?
Well, they're on the outside.
Put yours away, Carl. You're not one of the exhibits.
They're on the outside because they have to be a few degrees below body temperature for the Sertoli cells to
so
work.
That's an odd design that they had to go there because it's a bit of an odd place to have them.
Where would you suggest?
Probably,
dangling from the throat?
Sort of.
I want to redesign you, right? You can possibly do this now. This is something you can actually do, probably. You could probably have your testicles anywhere. So where would you want them?
You've got a giant forehead nail.
Yeah. You could have that. It probably wouldn't grow, but we could certainly have that.
I just mean like, because if all it's about is temperature, you don't want to get them too hot.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting hot down there because you're wearing pants and what have you. So have them nearer to the outside of the body.
Well, they are on the outside of the body.
No, but we wear pants over them.
So you wear pants over them because they're testicles, and polite society suggests that you don't show your testicles.
Yeah, well, that's the odd thing, isn't it? That's what's happened somehow. That we've said testicles shouldn't be seen.
Well, then just cut a hole in your trousers. If it's only about keeping them cool, and because they're too hot, why don't you just hang them out your shorts?
Because there's too many sort of seats that are shared these days, isn't there? But what I'm saying is...
Well, what are you saying?
Where would you put them?
Somewhere like... sort of under the ears. So it sort of just looks like lobes.
So you would redesign your body to have a pair of testicles hanging from your ears.
And when people are sometimes talking, they do sort of mess with their ears, and they're always saying check for lumps. More handy.
Does the penis remain where it is at the moment?
Leave that where it is. Yeah. There was one about a little red car. I can't remember how that ended. But the one that was really good was about a kid who gets a dog, right? But it's quite an old dog.
This is going to be an episode of the Waltons, isn't it? Oh, no,
Right.
go on.
And he's playing with the dog and that, but it starts getting a bit old. It's about 15 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, it's rubbish, this dog."
I would love that book for kids. I would love that. Tommy went, "Oh, Mummy, my dad's... Oh, no, kill it then. Kill it then." Shall I? "Yeah, just throw it in the lake. I'll get you another one. Do you want a Nintendo? Yeah. Kick the rabbit to death then. Or no food for you."
Oh, forget
brilliant.
it. No, come on, no,
Come on. Well, now to one of our most popular features. I mean, this could even rival Monkey News one day. It is Monkey News. It's it's news from the point of view of a monkey, a shaved monkey. It's Karl Pilkington's diary. Oh, he's written it down, yeah.
Was that the jingle, or were you just annoyed about something? Okay. Went and did the podcast. We had a meeting after. I don't like meetings, as I can't keep focused on what people are talking about. I think Ricky has the same problem as after 25 minutes he was trying to wrestle me. I tried to do what spiders do and stayed still as if I was dead. And Ricky just stayed on top of me, not moving. A bit like when you see one of them big snakes swallowing a sheep. Ricky got bored and released me. I went home thinking, why had I left my old job for this? A homeless man asked me for some money, but I didn't feel like I should treat him, as I felt that he probably had a better day than me. Oh, God. Suzanne called me to say she'd gone for a haircut, and that she'd meet me in the supermarket. I went to the supermarket, but she wasn't there. I called her and she said she was near the fruit aisle. I went to the fruit aisle and she wasn't there. Turns out she was in a different supermarket on the other side of town, and that if I'd listened to her properly, I'd have known that. I didn't want to say that
Well, you just went to the first supermarket you thought of, as opposed to listening to what supermarket... I'm in the supermarket, alright, bye.
I didn't want to say that I hadn't heard her properly, because my ears were ringing a bit from the wrestling from earlier. 25 minutes later, I met up with Suzanne. Her haircut wasn't that bad. Normally her haircuts are followed by an argument between us, as she pays over the odds for some daft haircut that's the latest style.
Brilliant.
I wish she'd take a picture out of a magazine or ask for a style rather than letting the hairdresser do what she wants. I said I only tell her to do this as she's got a square head, and a close-cut hairdo makes it look squarer. She said, "What do you think of this cut?" I said it looked alright, as I couldn't be bothered arguing about it. It's weird writing a diary. I don't know who thought of doing one of these first. The last time I did one was at school. They used to get you to do it so they could keep an eye on whatever you were up to. My diary used to say the same thing every night. Got home, went to the shop to get potatoes, bread, milk. Went home, watched telly, went to bed. I think I might have gone to Twiggy's dance club just so I had something different to write. You've not told us about Twiggy's dance club.
It's just, you know, I sort of, when I was a kid, I sort of gave everything a bit of a go. I did boxing and that, didn't I? Gave that a go.
For about 45 minutes.
And, yeah, a mate sort of said, "Oh, you know, you're into your dancing, your robotics and that. You're doing your body popping, right? Body popping and that." He said, "You ought to come to Twiggy's." And, I went there, but I didn't go in, it was shut. They were just having like loads of toilet rolls delivered. I think like they were like using it as a storage place for toilet rolls and that. So I said, "Oh, I've come to have a dance." And like, "Oh, not tonight. Come back tomorrow." I never went back.
Brilliant. What a waste of an anecdote. Right. Brilliant.
Just to recap, you're convinced then that the teachers are asking you to keep diaries so they can keep tabs on you. And then to continue the diary, as there were more problems happening on the estate, they started to add Saturday and Sundays to the school diary to keep an eye on what we were doing at the weekend. I struggled to fill it on a Sunday, as the shop I got potatoes and bread from was shut on a Sunday. I had to go over to Shepherd's Bush to meet someone. I got the tube. There was a badly burnt man on the tube. It's amazing how the body can continue through quite a lot of bad stuff. It got me thinking about how much stuff you could remove in your body, one by one, without dying. If it was a competition, the cockroach would win, as it can live for a week without a head.
I just mean like, say if, you know, they're running out of ideas for TV programmes and that, right? They get someone who isn't well. They go, "Look, do you mind if we make a programme on you?" And what they do, they sit them in the bed, and they go, right, what we're going to do now is take out the heart, but replace it with a pacemaker. Right,
No. Sorry, people with pacemakers don't have their heart taken out and a pacemaker popped in.
Alright then, some sort of machine. What I'm getting to is...
Have you been playing Operation?
What I mean is, the big finale would just be a head chatting with loads of wires going into it, and it's like, look what we can do with science.
That's what the programme's called. It's the same every week. The volunteer is just a head with loads of wires coming out of it.
Look what we can do with science.
And he's going,
goodbye.
I feel ill.
Got some post delivered to me today. It was... Oh, this is great.
This makes it in the diary.
Got some post delivered to me today. It was addressed to Mr. Dilkington.
I don't know why that's so funny. Oh,
I got some post delivered to me today. It was addressed to Mr. Dilkington. I opened it and the first sentence read, Dear Mr. K. Dilkington, you're one of our most valuable customers. I put it in the bin. Thought I would learn some new words, as Steve always says I don't use enough different words. I read in the Fortean Times that the word whew means an ugly female ghost with drooping breasts.
What do you mean?
Is that how am I pronouncing that right?
Who's using that word? Who is using that word?
It was just W-E-W-E.
Let's call it a woo. An ugly female ghost with drooping breasts. I think I'm right when I say there are too many words in the world. I don't think I will ever get round to using the word woo. Watched a health programme. Wasn't watching it properly, but heard some doctors say that we only get so many heartbeats in a lifetime, so don't do too much exercise. I told Suzanne, and she said I probably hadn't heard it right. We got talking about death. Suzanne said she didn't like thinking about it. I said she might end up being a woo. I was chuffed as I'd managed to use my new word. I went to the supermarket to get tonight's tea. On the way, I stopped and looked in the fishmongers at all the different fish they had in the window. It's like a child in one of those kids' TV shows.
I know.
Mr. Pilkington went to the fishmonger. He stopped and looked at all the fish in the window.
Hello, Mr. Dilkington, they said.
There was a newspaper clipping stuck on the glass about a two-headed fish that they've made in Taiwan. I don't see the point in doing this, as a fish having two heads ain't gonna solve the world's hunger problems, as the head is the bit you throw away. Invent a fish with two bodies, and I'd say well done.
Good point, isn't it?
Suzanne watched one of her favourite TV programmes. I've told her the telly only goes on if there's something she wants to watch. If there's nothing on, she has to talk to me about stuff I've learnt. Like Descartes. Watched a programme on him the other day. He is the one who said something like, I know I'm about 'cause I dream. Doesn't work for everything, 'cause ants don't sleep. I don't know if I'd like that or not. You don't know if you would like it if you didn't ever
Not
sleep.
sleeping. It's just one long day. I don't know. Don't know how you'd put up with that. Do you think it'd be a good idea?
No.
Why not?
Because, as you said, it would get a bit boring. You know, your sleep is your rest, your time off. It helps you detoxify. It helps you sort of think things through on a subconscious level.
But don't you ever get it where, I mean, sometimes it's brilliant to have a sleep when you're tired, but don't you sometimes feel
that's
like...
the best time to have a sleep, when you're tired.
No, but sometimes when you go to bed and you're not that tired and you're kind of thinking, oh, I'm going to waste some hours of my life now and I'm not really in the mood for this.
Well, that's just wishing you had longer on this earth doing creative things. I mean, if you didn't have to sleep, you could spend more time talking to a tortoise and going to the toffee shop.
Oh, and then you go on to say, it's weird how names have changed, but then there's no other point there.
It just is, isn't it? When you think about, like, Socrates, I've never heard that on anyone who I know, is what I mean. It's just, in a way...
But you're not Greek, are you?
But how did that go about back then? I mean, say if you were phoning someone up and they said, I'm booking a table for two, they go, name? Socrates. Did he ever go, cheers? Without going, can you spell that for me?
But I don't know what point you're making.
I'm just saying it's a name that's awkward. You're always going to have to go, can you spell that for me? You go, and it's not just him. Look at all them other names that are on that list.
But they're from a different country.
And a different era.
Yeah, I know, but the names, I've been to Rome and stuff, and you sort of go...
Well, ancient Rome.
Just Rome. It hasn't changed, has it? Rome, so it can be ancient Rome or Rome in 2006. It's the same buildings.
I used to love Nero going around in his Fiat Punto.
Lao Tzu from years ago came up with some good stuff. One, he who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know. Not entirely true. To lead people, walk behind them.
Yeah.
And of course, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Yeah, good that.
Just favourites.
Maybe this is why people are at the start line spectating at the Commonwealth Games.
Well, no, it's just that I've never understood why in Olympics and stuff like that, if you're going to watch, don't stand around the start line, go to the end, where you see the winner. But because of that saying, it actually makes sense, doesn't it? It's like, well, every step starts with a step, or whatever.
Say it again?
Every race, you've got to start with a step.
Yeah.
So,
which is, who am I talking to now, you or your brain?
Well, I was thinking about it a bit, so I think I was in control of it a bit more.
So, and what have you come up with?
Just if you want to stay at the start line, do.
What does that mean?
I'm just saying, if you're into, I wouldn't watch a race, right?
Okay.
But
is this you or your brain I'm talking to now?
This is me.
Okay.
I wouldn't watch.
Are you gonna bring the brain into it, or is it? There's no.
I don't know. Let's just see what happens.
Okay.
But all I'm saying is,
right.
If I was to watch a race,
yeah,
I wouldn't hang about the start line because.
Well, you just said you would.
What did I?
Yeah, you said that's the place to start because every race starts with a step.
No, but I wouldn't normally.
Right.
I wouldn't watch any race.
The brain definitely hasn't been used yet.
No, is this you or your brain you're talking about now?
I'm just saying about me. If I was on holiday,
yeah,
and Suzanne said there's a race going on down the road,
yeah,
I'd go, well, let's go, keep going down the road and stand at the finish line.
Okay, but now what have you thought?
According to Lazoo,
yeah,
I'd say, well, hang on a minute, every race starts with a single step.
Yeah.
How many people around the start line? Is there more room there? She goes, yeah. I'll go, let's go there then, it's less busy.
Right, and what would you see there then?
I'd see people starting the race, but I wouldn't be that impressed with them because I'd go, well, I don't know if any of these are any good.
So would you start at the start or the end then?
If it was down to me, I'd just probably stay at the finish line.
Okay, so you wouldn't want to see the first step then? So what do you think of Lazoo now then?
It's not what, but I wrote down 3 of his. That one isn't my favourite. That was the 3rd. I preferred the leading people from behind.
Okay, and what would you do to lead someone now then?
Well, if you're behind, you don't have to take responsibility, do you? You can go, well, I didn't send you here, you went there.
That's not really leading them, though, is it?
Yeah, because I've made them think. I've gone, they go, oh, I've just walked into a big hole. I'd go, oh, should have been looking where you're going. I haven't led them in that hole. But they've learnt a lesson, they won't go in a hole again.
That was one of the greatest conversations I've ever been a part of. I mean, that was incredible. Never mind Aristotle and Socrates. That was incredible, that. If someone's out there, could they make a transcript of that? Because I think that, in 1,000 years' time, that'd be amazing. That was incredible, Karl.
And not once was the brain used. Rick, it's that time again. It's what the whole world is waiting for now.
Is it Monkey News?
It is Monkey News. Please perform live the jingle.
Why'd you say that?
Well, we've got a few people saying, oh, is that a pre-recorded jingle? Yeah, like anything's pre-recorded.
No, it's different
every
every
we've got
week.
that technology.
I'll give it a big one, shall I?
Give it.
Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news, you
There we go.
Right then, well, got an email from John. If you've got any monkey news going on in your area.
Let us know, podcast@rickygervais.com.
Oh God, amazing!
Spong it on email. And, this one's sent in from John. Don't know where he is. But, do you know, like, they're running out of TV ideas and that?
They're running out of TV ideas.
Well, they've done a lot of stuff. I mean, if you had to come up with a TV idea now, you struggle, don't you? Because every idea you come up with, it's kind of been done on it.
Sure.
Okay.
Right? It's like inventions and that.
Right, they're not getting monkeys to come up with TV ideas, are they?
Well, no, right? But there's a TV channel in Moscow, right? And I think they had a bit of bad luck or something, a lot of redundancies and that, right? And whoever was in charge of it got a bit mental and got rid of loads of people, right?
Yeah.
And they come in the next day and they were like, right, are we ready to go live and that? And someone comes running in with a clipboard saying, we haven't got any people left, right, to present.
Such nonsense.
Right, but I tell you what. Right, okay, carry on.
So he goes, what?
If just one employee turns out to be Simeon and is doing a good job, I'm never doing this radio show again.
So this TV channel, you know, he's having a lot of problems and that. They've got to go live, right? He's like, what am I going to do? Anyway, for some reason, right, there was a chimp knocking about.
For some reason, that's the key piece of information,
No,
but we didn't get it. We didn't get it.
It doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Imagine if that was in a film. And they're going, well, I can't see where this plot's going. Well, he's just there. He's just there.
So anyway, so he sort of says, get it in a suit, right?
Why?
So, because they're running out of ideas, the clock's ticking, they've got to go live with something.
What do you mean? What he's presenting?
His programme?
He's presenting.
Listen, it's a chat show. I'm not...
They can't
Again,
talk!
don't have a go at me, have a go at John, who sent this in.
Right,
and
be
this
quiet, let's hear it. Let's hear it again.
So anyway, so like I say, so going live, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever. Chimp sat there on the chair. He was like, look, let's just get through tonight's show and worry about this tomorrow, right?
What are you talking about?
Look,
so they put a chimp in a suit. What was that handmade, or were the sleeves a bit short on him? You idiot, think!
So anyway, it's sat there, right? And they're going, right, here we go. Good luck, everyone, right?
Yeah.
Chimp's there.
What programme is this?
It's a chat show.
Whose chat show is it?
Well, it's the monkeys.
I like the fact that
It's the monkeys now, is it?
I like the fact that they put the chimp in a suit. It's like, no one's going to take this chat show seriously if he's not dressed up. If he's not smart.
Slovenly, look at that slovenly ape.
So anyway,
Oh.
let's get to the point of it and that, right? So anyway, so they go on, right? It's all going
Didn't
brilliantly.
happen. There's no way this happened.
Here's a fundamental
anyway.
question. How was the chimp asking questions?
Not sure about that bit, but all I've got is the stuff that was on the news site for this. Like I say,
But it's rubbish.
Yeah, but I'll give you some facts.
No,
I've told
no.
you there's a TV channel in Moscow that's having problems, right? I've explained that.
No,
bit.
it's rubbish.
They've got rid of the presenters. The monkey sat there, right? Don't worry about it anyway. I'm telling you, it goes all right.
Oh,
So
it's
anyway,
okay. In case you were worried, Rick.
he's sat there, right?
Absolute
They get to
shit.
the first break, they're like, can't believe it, right? You know, viewing figures and that, they're loving it, right?
What? No. What? How did they know the viewing figures in the break?
Please
and,
do not interrupt the
and
news.
what did the chimp
At
do
the
in
end
the
of it,
first half?
They had a big guest on that week and
And what
have
did
you.
he do? Just talk to
was
himself?
They walked on.
So Cher comes on,
I'm
yeah.
not sure, but say if it is Cher, right?
No,
Like,
what-
the main gaffer is like going, oh, Cher's going to go mental at us, right, for putting
Say
on
it is. No, it is Cher.
No, it's
In
Cher.
his mind, it's Cher sitting there talking to a chimp in a suit.
So anyway, she
and they're
comes
filming
off-
it for Moscow TV, and the ratings are going through the roof.
Presumably there's a translator, because Cher doesn't speak either Russian or chimp.
So she comes off, right, and the bloke who's in charge is like, she's going to go mad. She's going to go mad here. She walks up, she goes, I love that. Right? She said that's one of the best interviews, right? So anyway, they decided, right, it went so well, kept him on. He's still there.
I love the fact that Cher was an idea that Steve threw up, and now she's going, I love that, Jim, get me back there. I want to go to Moscow, never mind. Unbelievable.
Don't have a go at me, have a go at John, but, you know, if you've got any monkey news, send it in.
Podcast at rickygervais.com.
You like football, don't you?
We're doing Rockbusters. Oh, I suppose so.
Go on then. Oh,
Right, we brought it back. This is where I give a cryptic clue
Well,
and some initials, and you work it out and you win some stuff.
I was going to tell you what the prizes are. Needless to say, they're mediocre prizes for a mediocre quiz.
sure, okay, yeah.
Oh,
Well, it's
alright, couple of
DVDs and
videos and
VHS.
DVDs and
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
yeah.
VHS. Who's still got that?
Right, so there's three of them, and what you can do now, we've tweaked it a bit.
Okay.
You can text in. Mm-hmm. Right, so you can email or text.
We've tweaked it a bit.
83XFM is the text, or it's ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
Is that what it is? 83XFM?
That's it.
That is good, though, and that is convenient, because who's got their laptop up and running and
Exactly.
texting?
On the
So
move.
just with your phone. Brilliant.
All right.
Mine
So-
couldn't do that. I don't know how to do that on my phone. I don't know how to get...
What do you mean? What do you mean?
My brother wanted my postcode. He said text it to me. I couldn't work out how to do WC and
That's
1.
because you're an old man. It's
So I
technology.
had to write out WC1.
Oh, for goodness sake.
'Cause I didn't know how to do it.
Pathetic.
It won't do it for me.
Pathetic.
It's ridiculous. Go on.
Well, it's 83936 if you have that problem. Right?
Right, come on, we get on with the quiz. I
Right,
don't know. There's too many numbers now.
Three clues. Here we go. First one is this Teletubby has got lice. Right?
This Teletubby has got lice.
This Teletubby has got lice.
Right.
The initial there is P, so it's a band or an artist
Yeah.
that starts with P, and the clue is this Teletubby has got lice. Right?
Yep.
Second one.
I'm really already not holding out much hope for this. Working out. Go on.
Right, second one. I've just messed that first one up.
Oh, for Christ!
But when I give it out later, it'll be. I'll sneak it in without. Right, just don't repeat anything I say.
You're an idiot.
Listen,
You really are an idiot.
no,
Play a record.
No,
Play a record. Play a record. You're a fool. Play a record.
let me just...
No.
Press the
No,
button,
you've
press
ruined
the
it. You're an idiot.
It's off. I was talking to Carl the other night, because I've been rewatching for some reason that film Witness with Harrison Ford, where he's a policeman that has to protect a little boy who's part of an Amish community. Amish?
Yeah.
And I tried to explain to Carl...
You look plain, John Book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I was obviously trying to explain the Amish to Carl. He'd never heard of them. Completely stony-faced.
Amazing.
Amused. Now for those...
Okay, you explained it to him, have you? Okay, then. Now, I don't know what you said, but I'm assuming you got it right, right? Carl, now tell me back now, what are the Amish?
They're just people who, sort of live, like in the olden times, so to them they're sort of in about 1842 or something, so they're getting old papers and that. They haven't caught up to...
No.
They haven't they don't have telly.
They don't deny that the 20th century has happened. They just don't want to be part of it. They look up and they see planes and they know what they are, and they go into the town and they see it in the window of Dixon's, a telly. They just don't want to be part of it.
No, they're still living. They are
still living like it's
that's what I mean.
Yeah, but they don't. They know about everything else. They just don't want to be part of it because they think that the sort of the revolution was a bad thing. They think that society became more and more depraved, and they wanted to go away from it, and they want to go back to old values, and they think they don't need TV and jets and that way of life. They can survive in the old way because the old way was better.
Missing out on Live 8.
Yeah, but they haven't had Band-Aid yet.
Yeah,
I think this is the problem that Carl had. He in his mind, they were just a bit delayed, so that in his head they were slowly moving towards the 20th century.
They wouldn't be able to watch most of these bands, all their electric guitar. They'd be allowed to watch Tracy Chapman.
Yeah.
Doing an acoustic set.
Yeah.
Between the bands. Yeah. That'd be alright.
But no, in Carl's mind, it's like if he...
Although they wouldn't like Fast Car. They wouldn't like singing about that. They go, I don't know what you're talking about. Pony and Trap. You got a pony and trap. That'd be alright.
But are they still... Do they still get sort of rubbish post and that saying we need your money for this, or get behind this charity?
They live in a isolated community. They're farmers, aren't they? They're farmers.
It's an agricultural community, and they're obviously very staunchly religious. In actual fact, it would suit you very well because you hate crowds, you hate groups of people, you don't like the modern world. You'd love it down there, wouldn't you?
He wouldn't like getting up at 4 o'clock to milk a cow, though, would he?
Well, no, but he'd get used to it.
Go back to bed, couldn't you?
It's probably out. I mean, have they got anything to do with the Hare Krishna people?
No, nothing at all.
Because out of all the religions, that's I'm not a religious person. I don't understand.
You're only saying Hare Krishna because you've got the head. That's the only reason you think it'd be...
I'm halfway there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, out of all it, you just what was that?
Money just fell out of my pocket where I'm nearly laying down.
That's the danger of wearing sweatpants everywhere you go.
I'm only ever lying down in a chair.
No, I'm I've never been a religious type. If people want to do it, I let them do it and what have you.
Good of you.
But out of all of them, I want one that's not going to take over your life. I don't want one where you've got to get up 3 times a day and you've got to go and pray and that you've got to get up early. Forget that. It's getting in the way. But if it's something like, I was walking to work the other day, right, crossed Oxford Street, there's a little Hare Krishna fella there, and he sort of had, he had a leaflet and stuff, and he said, are you interested? And I said, what do you do? And he said, well, we're against getting stressed out and what have you. And he gave me a plum. They hand out food for some reason. But I sort of asked a few questions.
That's just the imagery. These 2 bold people, one of which is wearing an orange smock,
holding a plum in the middle.
He hands the other one a plum. It's almost like you can imagine some kind of religious painting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But what is their sort of main thing? Because he didn't really tell me that much. He was a Japanese bloke, so I didn't know what he was saying that much.
Why? He wasn't speaking English.
Not very well. He wasn't the best sales bloke to send out for them. is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what's that? Are they? You're saying they're nothing like?
Well, I believe Hare Krishna is a kind of as an offshoot of a sort of Buddhist faith.
It is. I think they are Buddhist, aren't they?
Yeah, and obviously their kind of trademark, as it were, is that they have to say. I believe they have to say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna in a certain rhythm, in a certain order, a certain amount of times per day. That's why you see them walking down the street saying Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, because it's actually a sort of religious chant which they're obliged to do. So you see, even if you go into the Hare Krishna faith, you may find yourself, you know, in Tesco or whatever, forced to say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Perhaps
out loud, not just thinking it.
Yeah, no, out loud.
You can put it on an iPod and
you couldn't put that on an iPod. No, it doesn't count. No, I think you have to actually say it. So I guess that kind of eats into your social life a little bit.
And there's the wearing orange as well.
Particularly frustrating, I imagine, if you're in a cinema or a library. A little bit awkward there, you know, midway through.
Or
Star
you
Wars,
live next door to a bloke called Hare Krishna,
yeah,
who constantly thinks you're calling him.
Yeah,
that probably.
Yeah. So that's in essence. I mean, I don't think we've quite done the Hare Krishna faith its full service there, but so interesting to you. I mean, you got handed a plum. You've been treated well by them.
Yeah, well, but he couldn't tell. I just wanted to know how much time it would take up. What are the benefits? You know, what can you do? What can't you do?
Well, I think the benefits are they probably don't get stressed out. They've probably got that sort of that zen, that chi-ness about them, where they try and interact and
quite meditative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some nice trainers as well, don't they, with their orange.
What are you looking for then in a faith, Karl? You say what are the benefits? I mean, obviously Catholicism, you get the communion wine and bread, so.
Yeah, but I can afford that.
Right.
Probably just I like the Crusaders. I was forced into joining that as a kid because a mate sort of joined it, and he sort of said, "Are you joining?" I sort of swore at him. I said, "I'm not doing that." Right? Yeah. He said, "Right, if you don't come with me, I'll tell your mum that you just swore." So I was like, "Oh." So I went along, and I used to just go on the Friday when they played, you know, Sabutio and stuff, and then I went on one Sunday, and it was totally different. There was no Sabutio, there was no sort of, you know,
table tennis,
the thing where you hold a thing and knock things over. Skittles. There was all that on a Friday. Went on the Sunday, it was rubbish. They said, "Right, sit down in this room." They gave me a Bible. Thought, this looks too heavy, this is too big, I'm not interested in this book. And I never went again. I used to hide on a Sunday when they came round. And that's been the only sort of...
why did it suddenly turn out to have to hide on a Sunday when they're coming round?
Because they wouldn't leave. They wouldn't leave.
Who was it? Were they adults?
It was sort of a... Well, he seemed like an adult to me at the time, but he was probably about 27.
Well, that is an adult.
Yeah, but, do you know what I mean? He seemed a lot older when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And he came knocking and that, and he used to say to me, "Mum, I'll just tell him I'm ill or something." And, he used to hang around to see if I'd eventually come out to play and that. And if I did, I think they would have grabbed me and took me there.
I love the idea that for you religion has to bring with it some kind of gift. It's like, you know, join our faith and you get an alarm clock radio. It's like something like
I think religion does bring a gift. Usually, it's
the gift of the Lord.
Well, the gift of everlasting life, isn't it? And that's the problem with it, you know. A lot of people believe in it because they think.
But for Karl, his feeling is like, that should be a given. That's safe. I'm definitely going home with eternal life. But what else can I have? Is there an iPod?
You have to have a religion, because obviously I don't have a religion. I don't miss it, and I wouldn't want one. I'm an atheist, and that's out of belief. That's out of logic, and we don't get into the politics or the morality of it. Why do you feel you need a religion? Why don't you just get a hobby?
Well, I didn't want one. I don't want one. I just was saying that, you know, if I was to get one, which one would I go for? Is what I'm saying.
I'd like to see you perhaps as a Jew. I think Judaism would suit you well, I think.
What are the hours like for that?
Tough. It can be tricky.
That's what I mean. I don't want anything that's, you know... And they have a day where they don't eat and stuff. I couldn't be doing that.
So then they have days when they eat a lot too much.
Yeah, but what happens if I'm not that hungry that day? Like I say, I don't like change. You know what I mean? I like my Cheerios in the morning.
It's not so much a question, but it's something that I think might be of interest to you, Karl. I was reading about this in the paper, and I know how fascinated you are by people of the Japanese persuasion. 2 elderly men found on a remote island are believed to be Japanese soldiers in hiding since 1945, desperate to go home. diplomats from Tokyo are investigating the claims of these men who are 87 and 83.
What? What are you thinking there?
Well, no, go on.
I know what you're thinking. Go on. Say what you're thinking.
Are they that old, though?
Why? Why? Say why.
I don't want to. Just leave it.
Carl's got a theory. Well, I mean, I don't think this is fine. I'd say that Carl's views don't reflect the views of XFM, right? Carl's got a theory that Oriental people don't age well.
Sure. Let Carl.
Yeah, but that annoys me the way. Yeah, but I think
What?
people probably agree with me. But for some reason, the first time I said that, I wasn't even worried about it. But now, because of the reaction of people, I don't understand. I don't know why I can't say that.
What's your theory? Explain your theory in a nutshell.
Just that you don't see a sort of a 33-year-old Chinese person. No, but at the same time...
What do you mean you don't see a 33-year-old
I'm not having a go.
Chinese
At the same time, you don't see that many fat ones either. So, in a way, that's good news. Nobody would be upset about that.
But what do you mean?
But your news isn't bad news, because it's not true.
But wait a minute, stop. What do you mean you don't see a 33-year-old Chinese person? I don't understand. What do you mean you don't see them? What do you see then?
Sort of, young ones. And then, like, you don't see that middle ground.
I don't know what this theory's based on!
So you see old ones and then you see young ones, but you never see any in between?
Yeah.
What do you mean? So what's the oldest Chinese person you've seen before the age of 33? How old do you think?
About 22.
22. So you've seen lots of 22-year-olds. So you've seen range from babies to 22-year-old Chinese people. That's fact, okay? And then what gap do you miss out? When do they pop back up on the radar for you? What age has a Chinese person got to be older than that?
About 49.
It's always so specific. What do you mean when you say they don't age well? What do you mean they don't age well? You mean that middle-aged ones look old?
Because you think at 23, when it's 23, happy birthday to you, and they look up and oh jeez, it's 52. What do you mean?
No, I just mean they don't age that well. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know what it is in them, but they just don't. All right then. Here's a question. You tell me of a Chinese person on the telly who's about 32.
Tell me of a Chinese person on the telly first. Give us the great gamut of Chinese talent currently on British TV, right? And I'll pick and choose. Go on then.
Bruce Lee.
How long has he been dead? Bruce Lee, 70s, wasn't it? And not really on the telly much, was he? Okay.
What age was he when he died?
33, I think.
Well, I would have never guessed that.
Well, what do you think? How old do you think he was?
Probably about 42.
What, you know Burt Kwok?
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah. Do you remember the Pink Panther films?
No.
Okay. He wasn't that old in them, because it was 60s, 70s.
But how old did he look, though? If he walked in and someone said, you never guess how old he is, what would you have said? Right then, there's my point then.
Well, we were talking earlier about this, as this book, They Died Young, right? And there's all these theories about these people, like famous people that, aren't really dead. And I remember speaking to someone about this, okay? And they said to me, Bruce Lee is not dead, right? They said he's not dead, right? And I said, well, how do you know? He's going, no, it was a whole big thing by the Hong Kong government, and he's actually working as an undercover cop in Hong Kong. using his kung fu powers. Now,
no, apparently he faked his own death, Carl,
yeah,
so that he could work undercover for the Hong Kong police, infiltrating gangs, the triads, that sort of thing.
Now, my point is this: if you're going to use someone undercover in Hong Kong, right? You know, an undercover cop. I suggest using the most famous Chinaman of all time. That's
a guarantee.
Yeah. So, you know, when he's taking away a gang, they're going, you look a bit like Bruce Lee. He's going, no, I don't know. See this moustache?
It's a bit wonky.
Well, it's, just take my word for it. I'm not Bruce Lee, alright? Well, all that stuff he did when you punching us and kicking us and yes. But, I'm not.
Yeah, it does look a bit like the stuff in my film, in his films.
In his films, yeah.
But it's not. It's just coincidence.
No, yeah.
The thing is, though, I'm not sounding bad here, not trying to offend anyone, but they do all look the same.
They do all look
No.
No, you know, we're having a serious chat. I'm not here to upset anyone.
Right.
And what I'm saying is, over here...
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm not. Yeah, but you know me. I'm not out to upset anyone.
Right.
You're not a racialist.
No.
What do you mean? Are you saying Oriental people all look alike?
Well, look at the people over here, right?
Yeah.
With like you've got ginger people. You've got people with black hair. You've got people who are fat, people who are thin, but they're all so sort of fit, which isn't a bad thing. They all do that sort of thing in the park. They're all fit. It's a place where black hair. I mean, when they come here, they take pictures of people with ginger hair, don't they? Because they don't get them over there. That's what I'm saying. So calm down. Jeez.
So you're saying that Bruce Lee, the most famous Chinese movie star of all time...
They can't tell him apart.
Other triad members would... How are they... I mean, how are they going about the business at all? I mean, what I'm saying is, how would they even realise that was the guy?
What do they have to do? Wear numbers in... You know, because there's a billion of them.
When you know them, then you know...
So what? Oh, I see. They can tell each other apart, can they? Well, they've got signals. This is amazing, isn't it?
That's how he got away with it.
Simon, which one are you? Just raise your hand, Simon. Yep. Chang, which one's Chang? Chang, good. Yeah.
Oh, it must be murder, mustn't it? Just
that can be the only
people going into the wrong houses all the time, getting off with their mates' wives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It must be a nightmare, then.
It must be a nightmare. Please don't complain. He doesn't know what he's doing. So I'm really sorry to anyone that's... he honestly does not know what he's saying. XFM 104.9.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is...
Go on.
I don't think I am offending anyone.
Okay. Fine, that's alright then.
And you know that I wouldn't want to do that.
No, I know you don't.
Oh, no.
I know.
Radio. I said, right, if you got kids in the car, turn your radio down.
So before you make any potentially racist remarks, just point out if you are listening and you might be Oriental. Yeah. Please don't take offence.
Or go...
You know what I mean. So
yeah.
Go on then, so what was this other dead person? Who's not...
Can't play a record, Ricky's having a heart.
Sort of madness, but I think we've got to calm down here. We're a bit naughty there. We said, you know, bloke with 2 dicks. We said Chinese people don't talk properly, which is a little bit...
offensive.
Yeah. Know what I mean, Carl?
Well, they don't, though.
Right, okay, let's leave it now.
Okay, stop there, Carl. Carl does not necessarily reflect the opinions of XFM or any other human being.
If you think that me and Steve have been offensive, we are strongly behind the guise of irony, satire, and ignorance. Carl only has ignorance and hate.
Yes.
No, but as long as you say something good about someone, you can also say something bad about
them.
How does that work?
Go on, give us an example.
Well, Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Great people. Right?
Good.
That's the women really good looking as younger people.
No! What are you doing?
I'm just saying, as long as you know what I mean, there's good and bad and everything.
For every
what are the old ones like?
They don't age well.
What do you mean?
The fella in Karate Kid, the teacher, was only about 36.
We started this! Oh.
So it's a phrase that might have once been uttered on this show.
It was said last week.
Oh, right.
Alright, okay, brilliant.
Alright, here we go.
I know you're just 16, but looking all of 21.
Right, I can't hear it.
I know what that is. That's ridiculous.
What was it?
What it is it's something like, right, you're only 16, but you look 26, and the Chinese look older than they are or something, because he said that. The Chinese don't age well. That is mental, Carl. It's the most convoluted, ridiculous, racist piece of material ever to be uttered on radio.
Play it again.
I know you're just 16, but looking all of 21.
That's...
Okay, you're just 16 and looking all 21. That's because the Chinese look older. Carl, you've gone mental.
Alright.
Oh, that is amazing. So, there you go, the well-known phrase, you're 16, looking all of 21, that's because the Chinese look older. Well-known phrase there, sweeping the nation. That'll be up there with "was up." And shut that door. If they do a poll, right.
Okay, Black. Well, we're after the artists.
Just the artists.
Yeah.
I know you're just 16, but looking all of 21.
That's.
You know what I don't get with it?
Go on.
Chinatown.
Yeah, Chinatown, because I always walk through it on the way to work. A couple of things annoy me. First of all, I think it's bad business. Just because if you've got a Chinese restaurant, put it somewhere where there isn't any others.
It's a good point.
Yeah, but it's also a community. They're not just a theme park for other people.
I remember going out one night with Suzanne and some friends, and you got there and there's so much choice. It's that dilemma of, oh, forget it.
Well,
And
not
we went
really.
somewhere
Specifically,
else.
do you fancy Chinese?
Well, no, but
No,
why don't you go to the one with the dead ducks hanging in the window? That's my
That's the
favourite.
other thing as well. It's like, normally you put your good stuff in the window. If that's what's in the window. Right?
Yeah.
And the other thing that annoys me, walking through it today, there's always lard on the floor.
What, in the street?
In the streets.
It is, honestly. I'm scared I'm going to slip over. It's because all the restaurants and that. But why is it? Oh, that's another point.
Well, it's not oozing out of the restaurants.
No, but why is it? Why is it?
I don't know what they do.
Careful. Listen, no, but why is
That's why they used to wear those little wooden shoes.
it? No, okay, we've got...
But the thing is as well, they try and wash it with water, which doesn't work with lard, and it's like oil.
Famously, yeah.
You know what I mean? Even I know that.
Yeah, you've got to
Yeah.
scrub it.
So...
You think so?
When you've been saying I've got a round head, I was a bit like, yeah, everyone has. Stop having a go.
Yeah.
And then I saw this picture last week. I thought, God, he's right.
Can't we just pop it on the XOM website?
I'd rather not.
I'll go on, just get
Steve,
someone...
have you seen that man in a jar without a brain?
Sorry, is that something? Is that a product you can buy? In like Sainsbury's?
Is it a dream you had yesterday?
Man in
And
a
you wondered if
jar.
you could... Can I... yes, hello, could you make my dream into reality, please? Oh, we can't actually, sir. In, plastic would be good.
Sorry, what do you mean?
In the
a man-
future, you'll be able to download your dreams and then just, like, act them out again, probably, in the year 2000 or something.
Soothsayer.
No, there's some museum somewhere
Yeah.
that's got this little fella who was born without a brain, and he's in a jar, and it's just that he's got a really round head.
Right.
And when I saw this picture, I thought, God, it just reminded me of this little fella in
Yeah.
a jar.
Hold on, what do you mean he's born without a brain?
He was born without a brain.
So it's a baby?
It's not a little fella.
Yeah, but it's working.
Do you know the difference? Do you have conversations with, like, people in prams thinking that fella's little and he doesn't talk much?
Yeah.
You know babies aren't, like, little people.
Well, maybe...
Well, they are little people, but I mean, they're not very small adults. They're not like midgets.
They don't do a job of work, is what we're saying.
yeah, you're very, no. What do you
I
mean?
didn't read about it, I just saw the picture. And
This
it
is
looked
where
like
you're
a
going
man.
wrong, Carl. This is always your mistake. You see the picture, you don't read the little caption.
But what do you
underneath.
mean? How do you think-
guess at what you think the meaning
But how
is.
did you know he didn't have a brain?
He said something like the brainless man.
Yeah, but people say that about you. It doesn't mean you haven't got a spinal cord.
I bet somebody's seen it and knows what I mean. It's a famous picture. It's
Right,
like-
call in 08700 800 1234. Once again, you win a prize if you can tell us what Karl is talking about. Just in general. It's an ongoing competition. We're trying to find some CDs to anyone who knows what Karl is talking about. Well, we've had calls confirming that there was indeed, a fetus, or a stillborn child.
A pickled baby.
A pickled baby. No wonder it died. Born without a brain. But everyone has, pointed out that it wasn't a little fella.
It certainly wasn't a little fella.
No.
But because it had been in the jar for a long time, I think it had aged a bit.
What are you basing that on?
You do carry on growing, yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Your ears and your nose.
Your ears and your nose. And your eyes don't grow, so,
Yeah.
you could probably, yeah.
I'll dig it out for you.
Yeah.
Imagine if like, there was an experiment where they were raising a child just based on the information that we said on the radio. What kind of a person
It was like
would they
download,
be?
yeah. And
What kind of information would they
and
have?
it took everything literally.
Exactly.
And I think, there's no irony or, it was just...
They just, everything we said they assumed was fact. Everything that Karl said.
And
they
any
assumed was fact.
question it had about the world, it could only ask Karl.
Exactly.
And it would
See,
be
now,
his-
this worries me because without wishing to be disrespectful in any way, Karl, you know I think you're the best man on earth. When you have a child, we could be in a situation a bit like that. Do you know, is it a concern for you, do you think, that, like, when your son's growing up, or your daughter, and they're asking you questions, You're conscious. I mean, you yourself have admitted that you have a sphere of knowledge which you are an expert on.
Ask your mother.
You'd say ask your mother.
That's good.
That's great, fair enough.
That's good.
And I'd play with it. I think I'd be a good dad.
Yeah, I think you would.
But I wouldn't be the one who's shouting at it.
No. Who would you get to shout at it? Probably Windsor Davis. He'd be good, wouldn't he? You horrible little man!
Well, you know, I'd tell it the rights and wrong. You don't have to be a really bright person to know the rights and wrong in the world.
Yeah. No, I think you are bright, Carl.
You are. And at what point in their life would you tell them about the evolution of the baguette? Which you told us.
Or the story of the bee.
Yes.
That you scored once.
Or the two children. Would you ever get them to meet as maybe like that? They could be godparents. The friends you had at school.
Yeah,
with webbed hands.
the big heads and
big
webbed
heads.
hands.
They weren't my friends.
That weren't friends.
I wish we could track them down.
Oh, that'd be great.
I imagine they're in a zoo. Oh wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
two big
That's
jars.
the Park, yeah.
Two big jars. Industrial strength jars. Oh, dear.
What do you make of the, what do you make of the first genetically modified baby?
Oh.
Are you worried about this?
Do you know what did they do? What?
Let me see what it says here. It
Well,
says,
isn't it just choosing the, you know, eye colour?
Well, this is the concern, isn't it? That in the future you'll be able to decide whether it's a boy or a girl, how intelligent it is, what it looks like, is it handsome, is it ugly? Obviously, no one will choose an ugly baby, and so on and so on and so on. And so it means that where will it lead? Where will it end, Carl? Are you concerned?
I've thought about this a lot.
What will us three look like in the future? If they're being, you know, genetically modified beautiful people, what will we be like? How will we be considered in society?
True, yeah. But we've talked about this before, haven't we? About the cloning thing.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters, because at the end of the day, right, you might look like some other kid, but it's the way you're brought up that will change your features and the way you are, you know, your personality.
If you lie, you get a long nose, don't you?
Well, no, but listen, right, because I remember when we, you know, I was growing up on this estate.
This is gonna be good. Go on.
No, it's not. It's just an example of how this doesn't work.
Go on.
So we don't need to worry, sort of thing.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm growing up on this estate, and there was this woman about 4 houses down, right? Who's a bit rough. Alright?
Didn't fancy her.
Oh, God, no. Right, but she had a
Why?
baby.
Well, tell me about her first. I'm interested in this woman. Why was she?
It was a very...
So like a man in a
I
dress.
mean, I didn't grow up in a posh house or anything, and I'm not saying that if you live in a bit of a rough house, you're a bad person.
What did she look like?
But anyone can
Tattoos?
clean up.
Looked like Tony Green with a fag on.
They didn't clean up much, right?
Oh.
Which, even if you've not got a lot of money, you can still try and make a place look nice.
Yeah.
Right? But she didn't, and a kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry.
Whoa,
Yeah. Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean a kid used to take a horse into the house? Where did he get a horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. Must have done.
You've seen a horse in it? No.
What, is that from outside the saloon round the corner?
Yeah, was it just tied up with a bit of...
Right?
oh, that's great.
I'd
Big
been out.
Jake, I'm looking for it.
I'd been out.
Oh.
No,
sorry, let me get this. This was before the lynching stopped or after?
Where did he get a horse from? What do you mean he must have nicked it? His mum said, where'd you get that from? I bought it. Alright then. But keep it out of the kitchen.
I don't want you going Catlin rustling.
Where did he get a horse from, Carl? And how long did he have it for? Was he leading it or riding it? Mum, open the door, I can't stop!
I can't stop it. Open the patio door as well, I'll be...
Looks like we got us a runaway. What do you mean?
I don't know, but the thing is, they couldn't afford to buy one because they're not cheap. So I'm just guessing. Maybe that's wrong of me. But I think...
He had a horse?
Yeah, right. So
that's why the family didn't have any money, they'd spend it on the horse.
No, I don't think, that's what I'm saying, I don't think they would have bought it. So anyway...
Yeah, it's wise to whisper, Carl, in case they're listening.
Yeah, and
they could be in the room next door.
It's not buying it, it's keeping it as well. Oh,
so I was like in the car with my dad coming into the avenue, and you used to have to drive down it to turn round. And, and you know, sort of go back to our house.
You had the traditional method of transport. Yeah.
And the horse was in the lounge,
reading a paper.
Just like walking around.
Oh God! What?
And when I was doing, I tried to earn myself some money once by flogging little flowers in plastic cups.
What? This is genius. It just keeps coming. What do you mean you're trying to flog little flowers? What do you mean?
Well,
Wait. Let's play a record. Let's play a record and come back to this, because the story's going to just unravel and unravel. It's going to go on for hours. Let's play a track,
deeper
Carl.
and deeper. It's
Yeah,
like
come
an
on, Carl.
onion, isn't it?
We've created a whole world here where there's a man living with a horse.
Just walking around the lounge.
I mean, I come from the West Country, I've never heard anything like that.
I just think of a big sort of like orange carpet and a rediffusion telly and this horse going, I'm fed up in here.
Exactly.
This is really...
I am not taking the rubbish out again.
Yeah.
Listen, we're doing Songs of Phrase today, because Rockbusters has gone.
What songs of phrase again? I can't remember. I think I've blanked it out.
Yeah.
When we do, something that's been said a few times on the show.
Right.
Right?
It's been said a few times. Black! I'm scared of Andrew Phillips! Black!
I'm
I
not
need
scared
a
of
job on it! Black! Go on, sorry, you were speaking, Carl.
So we take a phrase from the show, right, and just get songs, like the words from the songs, edit them together so
Something
it says
like,
that phrase. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, just go on. Sorry, go on, Carl. Come on.
So are we doing it?
Sorry, so what's the phrase you've come up with?
The phrase is no more cheeky freak of the week.
No
more cheeky freak of the week. Is there not? We're not having that anymore.
Well, no, because it's offensive, and if we're worried about offending people, to talk about people with disabilities,
Well, yeah,
like,
but that's
like
what
conjoined
annoys me.
twins and women who are born with like deformed legs,
it was
and you call them
never-
dog woman.
it
So
wasn't- it
you
wasn't-
know, you've got to be careful. You've already insulted Christ. Let's not do disability. Let's do songs of phrase, shall
Cheeky
we?
freak of the week was never out to offend anyone.
No.
It was to make you
No, I
realise
swear, we
how
don't
lucky.
try and offend people. We try and entertain them.
Right, do you know the funny thing is? Right, you're saying about, being cruel about people and stuff. It goes on all the time. On the news the other night, do you know those Siamese twins that didn't make it through the operation?
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And this is why I'm stopping it, because I don't want people to think we're having a go at disabled people and stuff. Right? On the news, right?
Yes.
Before that operation, the doctors said, we're going to try and sort this out. All the doctors are going to get their heads together. Is that a good phrase to use?
Yeah. Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Carl, play a record.
No, I'm
Play a
just...
record.
Are you offended, Rick? Are you? Oh, you've offended Rick. You're ready.
You're the one that's
Yeah, but I'm saying, we're not out to offend anyone, yet it's always going on. People are always having a go.
entertain. Please don't bring it down. Play a record.
No, it wasn't. I hate it.
Darkness. Growing on me.
You love the darkness, don't you?
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to see him. They were doing a
I
little
like their album
HMV
as well.
thing. Is it
People
good?
told me it's a bit too jokey or
Yeah.
a bit too tongue-in-cheek, but it isn't really. If you don't know that, it sounds great. It just sounds like sort of retro 70s rock. It's great. I think it's brilliant.
It's nice to have rock back. I think you'll agree.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High five, man. High five.
Yeah. Sweet.
Sweet, mate, sweet. Songs of Phrase. It's the mighty return of Songs of Phrase. No one has requested that. It's not due to public approval.
A lot of people have requested some swearing.
They have indeed. But,
We had a lot of emails for that, but go on, Carl.
and remind us again what exactly Songs of Phrase is and why we should care.
It's just a phrase that we take from the show, make up by taking words out of a song, edited it together. Right? The phrase that we're doing is no more cheeky freak of the week.
No more cheeky
It
freak.
sounds like this.
No more cheeky freak of the week.
Right? So
No, that's nigh on impossible.
Play again.
you got
Play
to
again. I
email
didn't hear
in.
that.
You got to email in with all the songs that you can hear there. Right? I think there's 5 songs.
And we
in
just want
total.
the names of the songs.
Yeah, that'll do.
Okay.
All right.
Do we just hear it again?
No more cheeky freak of the week.
All right.
Yeah, that's
It is good. It's probably one of the best you've done. It's very tricky though. I mean,
that's not too tricky. Play it again.
No more cheeky freak of the week.
how many have you got? Do you think, Rick? Just
Well, I've noticed the same person singing twice.
Is
in
that
a-
right,
In a
Paul?
band and solo.
Yeah.
And I know one
I
track
think-
straight away from the word.
Can I just say, I do think naming the songs is a bit tricky. Let's just name the artists. Is that all right?
What's the artist?
Just the artists, just change the rules slightly.
Yeah.
Before we play it again, just let you know what the prizes are. We've got on DVD Later with Jules Holland Louder. Lots of the alternative acts he's had on there. A DVD, a couple of DVDs.
With
Rollins
Boogie
on there.
Woogie piano over the top.
Let's hope so.
Brilliant. I can't
Keith and Mary
wait.
Chain are on there, Stereophonics. We've got Sonic Youth, Ash, Hole, Queens of the Stone Age, Foo Fighters, quite good. Once again, Cruise of the Gods on DVD, starring Rob Brydon and Steve Steve Coogan. That was on at Christmas. It's not bad.
It's not the same one. They haven't been sending that back. We've been giving out different ones each
We have
week.
indeed. This is an album just called quite simply I Love You, and you'll be pleased because there's the likes of Mel C, Cliff Richard and the Hollies on there.
Brilliant.
Excellent. The best chill-out album ever. We've got the Beach Boys on there, Elvis Costello, Pink Floyd, Coldplay. That's not bad. And this is the one that's most interesting, I think, the American Song Poem Anthology. I've not heard it yet, but apparently, I think what it is an anthology of recordings that were made apparently in, I think, maybe 50s or 60s America. There was a particular organisation, you could send in songs or lyrics that you'd written at home, and they would send it to music and record it for you. And this is a compilation of them. So obviously, there's some quite idiosyncratic and odd little things on there. I think it's probably worth a listen. So not bad prizes at all, Carl. Let's play it again.
Well, we've started that going.
Just the artists then, ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk, ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. Once more, Carl.
See, it's great.
Yeah, not bad at all. A little bit of Elbow. Nice to hear them again. This is the one Red. XFM 104.9, Ricky Gervais.
Sure.
Elbow and Red. Good tune.
The old Spanish archer, right?
Yeah, Elbow. Oh, sorry, you've lost me. I wasn't listening.
Elbow.
Right. Sony award-winning from Ricky Gervais.
Well, we're not allowed to do anything.
Sure, a bit
Andrew likes those sort of things.
Rick, I can tell you now that the answers to songs of phrase are quite literally dribbling in. I think there's two, maybe three answers so far. So very excited about that.
So who's the winner?
Answers. Well, let's give us the answers first.
Right.
This was
this is how it sounded.
It's not Rockbusters. I'm calling it Rockbusters because they're all interchangeable at the moment.
Right, Paul McCartney, Cheeky Girls, Sugar Babes, Space and Beatles.
Okay.
Right.
Brilliant. You've really, I mean, if you're not interested in it, Carl, seriously, mate. Anyway, we're going to give the prizes, which are pretty good this week, to James Waters from Colchester. Well done to him, he's got them pretty much right.
Right, okay, Carl. That's ridiculous. 3 amazing scientific facts, one of which is spurious. Okay? Okay, 1. Girls can't throw because the part of their brain that allow men to throw properly in a girl is used up in emotion. 2. Gravity isn't instantaneous, it works at the speed of light. The force of gravity. 3. Statistically, you're more likely to be trampled by a donkey than dying in a plane crash.
Now, even though the last one sounds daft, I think I've read that. About the donkey thing.
Okay.
So, girls... What's the first one?
Girls can't throw properly because the part of the brain that allow men to throw is used up in emotion in a woman. Gravity isn't instantaneous, it works at the speed of light. So when you drop something, the force kicks in at the speed of light.
What do you reckon, Steve?
Well, it's not for me to say.
Is this a trick one where none of them are ridiculous? Or
No, one of those three. One of those three is not true.
Right, well, it's definitely not the donkey, right? So, I reckon the girl one, throwing stuff.
Is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well done.
Very well done indeed.
Yeah.
Very well done indeed.
That's 2 out of 2 he's got so far.
Well, there you go. Well, I'll teach you some stuff now, right?
I've always been fascinated by the donkey fact, because it is an extraordinary fact that more people are killed apparently by donkeys than they are by airplane crashes.
Well, I suppose in countries where they're used and used a lot, that they go a bit mad and squash it.
But my concern is that when you go on a plane, there's so many checks. I mean, it takes some 40 minutes to go through all the checks: the air pressure, the cabin pressure, the fuel, checking the flights, the takeoff, all the rest of it. Our checks for donkeys.
Nothing.
Did someone close the gate? I think so.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
That's
is
our
he
donkey
annoyed?
checks.
Is he annoyed or not? You're not working him too hard, are you? Yeah. He's got his hand. Is there two holes for the ears? Yes.
Well, I think that's what's happening. I don't think it's accident. I think they're picking us off. I think they're so annoyed that a nickname for them is ass. Yeah. And they've got to wear the little hat. You know, they've got to ride kids. Give kids rides on the beach. And I think they're just sort of annoyed. Yeah. Maybe they're sort of just picking us off one by one.
Yeah.
Teaching us a lesson.
If we had the same stringent checks on donkeys as we do on international flights, maybe there'd be a little less death.
Exactly. Wise words.
Cheers.
Wise, if slightly incoherent words.
Oh, chimpanzee, that is only gone and written it down, the little...
That's the jingle for Karl's diary, excerpts of which we read each week. Get straight into it. A band from the Conga have won the Best Newcomers in a Radio 3 competition. They use pots and pans for instruments. It says that the Conga is a poor, sad place. So why do people do that happy dance at the end of parties called the Conga?
Right, one is the Congo. There's no place called the Conga. They come from a place called the Congo. Where do you come from? Okie dokie. It's a terrible place that we don't know whether to put our left leg in or our right leg in. Sometimes we shake it all about.
We're not sure if we should.
But, Conga! Fucking hell, you're such a...
Went into the gadget shop today. It's full of stuff that we don't need. Gadget used to be a good word that made you think of James Bond with all his gadgets. The best thing I could find in the shop was a clock that ran on potatoes. We are definitely going backwards.
I agree. Well, who cares about that? A little electrical impulse, so what?
Had a night out with old schoolmate. Found out about more of the other lads I went to school with. One is living underground.
What do you mean living underground? Not like a mole. Do you mean he's got a basement, or do you mean he digs a hole every night?
My mate went to visit him and he said it had been raining really heavily and that, and it's all the rain's running in.
What do you mean he went to visit him? He went down here? What's that? That's an hole in the ground. Yeah, come in.
He just said, oh, come round see us, and he's living underground.
What do you mean he's living underground?
He wanted to be in the army but was turned away, and that's the closest thing you can sort of...
How is that similar to living in the army?
Oh, that's exactly like the army, yeah, where they teach you trades and, engineering and flying.
He's happy down there. He said it was really muddy and what have you. He said he won't be going back to visit him.
What's he got down there?
Just stuff, just like a sleeping bag, a lamp.
He's dug himself a subterranean cave.
Near my old infant school, they knocked it down because it was like a wreck. You'd be in the class and you could lean on the wall.
Yeah,
and your hand would go through it and stuff. And they knocked it all down, and I think that's when he was at his most happy, this bloke.
I believe this, though. I believe someone he went to school with now lives in a hole. That doesn't shock me. Whether the tales I've heard of horses in houses and big-headed kids with webbed hands and feet, and him, I believe that someone he went to school with now lives in a hole. That isn't bizarre to me.
You spent far too long with him, if that now you're just happy to accept.
I totally accept that. I'd be surprised if I walked round where he lived that there weren't more people living in holes. His dad wanted to throw his budgie on the fire.
True.
His budgie died, his dad said, let's throw it on the fire. I mean, his mum, what did your mum do when your budgie died?
She just was worried about the other bird that was left, so she made it a bit of company by getting a rock, getting a feather off the dead budgie, sticking it on the rock, putting it in the cage.
So, a man living in a hole is not that bizarre. Right, carry on.
I read me science magazine. Some things I learnt from the science magazine. Number 1, space is running out of space. We should stay out of the sea because shark attacks are up.
Yeah, probably 4 a year now.
Well, he just says here, we should just stop going in the sea.
Yeah.
There's no need for it.
Exactly.
Why is there no need for going in the sea?
Just because there isn't now, is there? We've got loads of land. So just, one or the other. We walked out of the sea. Now, this is what I mean about going backwards. Getting back in it again. We came from the sea originally, now we're going back in it. Don't go in it. Unless you're in a boat.
The rules, according to Karl Pilkington.
The rules of Karl Pilkington.
Oh, God.
Did the podcast and then went for a walk round Manchester Square. Years ago, a woman lived round there who had a head like a pig. She was known as the Pig Woman of Manchester Square. That made me think if there were other pig-headed women knocking about London.
Do you know what I mean? Why was she nicknamed that? Why not just the pig-headed woman? That suggests to me like there was loads of pig-headed women, and that's the one of Manchester Square.
Right.
Well, no, it was more to do with identifying her, not amongst other pig-headed women, but have you seen the pig woman of Manchester Square? I.e., go down there and see the pig woman, it's in Manchester Square.
What happens if she's walked off from there, though, and you go, well, no, but I saw one on New Cavendish Street.
No, she'll always come back if you rattle the feed.
Watched a film about Hitler. Didn't watch all of it as it was subtitled. Can't be doing with that. Asked Suzanne if cinemas are full of deaf people when they're showing subtitled films. She said, shh, I'm trying to watch it. I said, what do you mean, shh? It's subtitled, I can make as much noise as I want.
Yeah.
She's a lucky, lucky woman.
You must be a joy to watch a subtitled film. I mean, the concentration is up there already. I mean, it is hard to concentrate. It's not as easy as when you're hearing it, because you read things, but it's possible. If you had a buffoon going, I'm just gonna sit here and make as much noise as I want, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
What is the point of that? I mean, it's possible, but why do that in a cinema? Just walk into a subtitled film and go, right, everybody? Let's all do the conga.
Well, yeah, or during ballet. You know, I mean, ballet, they're just dancing. You don't need to listen to the words. Just have a conversation. We're having our bathroom done. The bathroom man was round at 9 this morning. We weren't allowed to use the shower because it all had to be bone dry before we could use his waterproof filler. Not that waterproof, then. Went for a brew with Ricky. We talked about monkeys and how they are closer to humans than they are to apes, and how bees will drink cider to get off their heads. Now and again there is a bee that lets the drinking get in the way of the work, and other bees sting it to death. Blimey.
Yeah, well, there's bees. They love a drink, and they will drink pure alcohol. They drink 100%. They drink ethanol. You know, I don't know why. They love getting off it, and they fall down and they're drunk, right? A bee can take in the equivalent of 20 litres of wine, right? But some bees get addicted in the same sort of percentage as human addiction, like 10% of bees, they can't get enough of it. They take ethanol, they take cider apples and that, and then when they get back to the hive, they go in a bit pissed, and they've got guard bees, and they go, come on, we've all had a drink.
Bouncers.
Yeah. They sort of are, right? And they push them away, and they push them away again, then the next time they go, right, I've had enough, and they give it a good hiding. And Karl couldn't get over this. I saw his face, but I knew that he was thinking of that bee with sort of like eyes rolling round his head, a little bit belligerent with his jacket on backwards. Yeah. You know, and the bouncer going, come on, son, we've all had enough, let's move away, move away.
You're not coming in, right? You're wearing trainers.
Yeah, you know, you're wearing 3 pairs of trainers, and I'm sick of it, you know.
But what I did find out, because I went home and went on the computer trying to find out about drunk bees knocking about, they're not actually meant to fly. It's only because they don't know. Fly. Well, no, but they're if they were told that you're not actually designed to fly, they wouldn't bother.
No, this is that thing that goes around that aerodynamically, on the face of it, looking at the size of the wings and the body proportions and everything, that it's a surprise that they can fly. Okay, it's not that no one's ever told them they can't, and as soon as someone tells them you're not meant to fly, they all fall out of the sky going, oh, what are we doing? Like in a cartoon.
No, but it's something about the confidence and that. At the moment, nobody's saying
it's nothing to do with the confidence. There is no such thing as confidence in bees. A bee never loses its nerve. That's not why it drinks. Because what are you drinking for? I'm just not confident anymore. There's no point to turn to the bottle. I can't go up there again. You're an idiot.
These emails. This one is from David. He's in Los Angeles, California, 22 years old. He says he loves the show, but he says, with respect to Karl, never before have I understood so little of what a man says. Virtually everything that Karl talked about was aloof to me. What on earth was he ranting about? Flies and condoms, monkeys and pushing the left button, cavemen and dinosaurs. And that's just some of you. I mean, let's be honest, if you are in America, I mean, firstly, the accent is probably a problem.
But that is the best write-up we've ever had.
Yeah. Flies and... Imagine if you're a new listener, flies and condoms. What on earth does that mean? This one's from Kent Plummer from Nova Scotia, Canada. He says, Karl, he's wondering if you've got any personal mantras that you could pass along. For instance, he reminds us of Ben Franklin's famous mantra, waste not, want not.
Who said that?
Ben Franklin.
What did he do? What was his job?
Benjamin Franklin was a well-respected American politician from the 1800s. He was a sort of thinker, a philosopher, a scientist, deeply respected. Also a big political figure. He features on the dollar bill or $10 bill or something. Yeah. So he's one of the great sort of American Enlightenment thinkers. Right. And he came up with the mantra, waste not, want not.
You must know waste not, want not. I mean, that's just...
Do you understand the phrase waste not, want not?
No, not really, no. What does it mean?
You've never heard that?
I think I've heard it, but I don't know. I've never used it. But when someone else said it, I don't know what...
Well, in context, I mean, all I'm going to do now is paraphrase that and put some prepositions and stuff in it for you. I can't work out how you can't work out what that means. It's like, don't throw stuff away, because you might need it, and therefore... you won't be wanting anything because you didn't throw it away. So,
So he was a bit of a
Well,
hoarder.
if you don't waste food, for instance, then you
he's
won't...
a bit of a hoarder.
For God's sake.
No, but I'm just saying, you know, he's a man in power. Is that the best thing he ever said?
No, I'm sure he came up with many, many profound
So
things.
why is that one
He did
remembered?
experiments in electricity and conducting electricity, all sorts.
But that impresses me more, inventing electricity, than someone...
He didn't invent electricity.
Wait a minute! Don't impress you more than what?
Just saying, waste not, want not. I don't think it's that good. It's not even catchy. What I don't understand is why he was the first person to sort of suggest, look, don't go chucking that out, keep it, you might need it later.
He wasn't the first person.
Say that again. That is brilliant. Why isn't that catch on? That is amazing that you just come up with there. That's poetry. How would you word it?
I'd just say, whoa, don't be chucking that out, you might need that later.
Don't be chucking that out. You might need that later. Karl Pilkington.
Whereas some would argue
2005.
that waste not, want not is perhaps a little bit more pithy, a little bit more...
We should go through great sayings and phrases and say
See if he could... Well, firstly, does he know what they mean? And then secondly, can he improve them?
That would be brilliant.
Well, we'll do that next time.
week.
So, alright, let's see. Okay, Winston Churchill. Never have so few done so much for so many. What do you think of that? Do you know what that means?
So he's saying...
Well, it's with regard to the Battle of Britain and the pilots that gave their lives.
Yeah, I'd just be annoyed if I was one of them who gave a lot for a few or whatever, right?
No, gave a lot for so many. If you were
well,
one of those few
yeah,
that gave so much for so many, i.e., it means these few good men, their actions freed the world. They freed the world. They have an impact on every person in the world, and they were few brave men, and that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if I was one of them men who gave up his life, right, I'd want a name check. I don't want to be bungled in with everyone else who is saying a load of blokes gave it their lives, well done and that, see you later.
That's brilliant.
Did you just say bungled in?
Yeah, bungled in, yeah.
He made up a word!
I don't want to be bungled in.
You made up a word. See, that's it, you see, we've been looking for it. That's original, that's Karl Pilkington. I don't want to be bungled in.
Email here, Rick, from a man I know you're going to look forward to meeting one day. Paul, the party animal Parker. I imagine
back.
he had a wild Christmas.
Oh,
imagine the fun he got up to.
He's sitting now in sunglasses with his mum giving him some soup because he's partied too hard.
Well, I'll tell you this. I wish I was round there for New Year. Imagine what he's going to get up to.
If he recovers in time, it's going to be mental. What's he want?
Anyway, Paul, the party animal Parker, he sent in a fact. That seems to be his thing now. He sends in facts he thinks might be of interest to us. The kiss that is given by the bride to the groom at the end of the wedding ceremony originates from the earliest times when the couple would actually make love for the first time under the eyes of half the village. Now, a couple of questions straight away. Firstly, this is almost like a Karl fact.
Yeah.
Because there's no specific time or place. It was earliest times.
Earliest times.
I don't know whether that means the wedding ceremony in this country, in America, in Africa, who knows.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, it's a little bit vague. But this was the thing that struck me. Actually make love for the first time under the eyes of half the village. And you wonder, why is it only half the village? Was it like, were they raffling off tickets?
Yeah, the winners.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You come and see two people getting it on. The rest of you, no, tickets only. It's cordoned off.
It started off, and then a few of them got bored.
Exactly.
Once you've seen one stroke, you've seen them all. Yeah, that's about as good as it gets. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if there's any truth. But what about that, Kai? How would you feel with that if you had to?
At what point does that happen? Is that like, they go, right, I do. Get your knickers off.
Well, presumably, if it's the origins of the kiss, you may kiss the bride. The old vicar used to say, as they were jumping over the broomstick, he used to go, right, give her one.
Yeah.
And then...
You may knob the bride. Don't know how quick the lovemaking has to be, whether you've got to get in and out, boom, and then, you know what I mean, because people are hungry, they want to eat, they want to have a disco, or whether they can go on for hours and people are just eating, chatting.
I'll tell you what, Sting's wedding must have
been a long hours
of affair, wasn't it? The guests was bringing in their own
brought
cake.
sleeping bags. Thermos flasks.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Right, do you know we've chatted about charities before, haven't we?
Sure. Yeah.
Done a lot of stuff on that, right? It's coming back from Manchester, right? Got off the train at Euston,
Yeah.
right? Got off the train, walking through the busy bit and stuff. There's this fella stood there, right? Like a charity worker,
Yeah.
right? Nice looking fella. He's got his suit on, the tie and everything, quite respectable and that, right? Look down at his bucket. All the money's been put in the bucket and that,
Yeah.
right? On the front of the bucket, right? It says collecting for the homeless at Christmas. Now, why can't they do that?
What, the homeless?
The homeless people. Why is some fella taking his time out, right? His own time where he could be at home. Why?
Some of us have got homes to go to.
Yeah.
Why? Do you know what I mean?
What,
Why-
you think just give them the
well,
buckets?
what are the homeless people doing whilst he's doing that? Is what I'm saying. What have they got on the timetable?
Cut out the middleman. Cut out the middleman. Give all the homeless a bucket with homeless written on
For
it.
Christmas?
Yeah. No admin.
No.
Just keep everything you get, mate.
What do you think of that?
It's a brilliant idea.
What would prevent a homeless person, an entrepreneurial homeless person, just getting a bucket and writing that on there themselves?
Could I suggest something? Hunger, some drug addiction, traumas, often mental illness. Just possibly too depressed to get up, put a suit on, and go to Euston Station with a nice bucket with some writing on it.
And then, right, I was thinking about that, right, and I was walking down the street in London with Suzanne. Saw a little homeless. Well, I didn't see the homeless bloke, right. I saw a leg,
Right.
sticking out of a doorway. I thought, here we go, right. Walked past it, right. You're not going to believe this.
Go on.
Homeless
Yeah.
Chinese fella. I've never seen one of them. No, I'm not having a go, right? But have you ever seen? Do you know what I mean? That was a shock.
I
to me.
really don't think I have. I think he's got me there. I hate to say it, but I must say I can't remember ever seeing a homeless Chinese person. No.
No, I suppose you're right. Thinking about it.
Weird, isn't it?
I
Actually, said I was walked past and I said to Suzanne, "Did you see that?" She went, "What?" I said, "Just look back there." She said, "What?" I said, "That homeless fella. Look back at him." She said, "What?" I said, "He's Chinese." And she said, "Yeah, good point."
Good point. Of course she did.
She said that to shut you up.
She didn't
yeah.
want